Olá! Sejam bem-vindos ao curso de Português Europeu para Iniciantes. Hello! Welcome to the European Portuguese course for beginners. Neste curso, vou dar-vos uma visão geral da língua portuguesa. In this course, I'm going to give you an overview of the Portuguese language. So, who is this course for? First of all, this course is for English speakers. Este curso é para falantes de inglês. The reason why is because I'm using English as a tool to explain to you how does the Portuguese language works. This course is for you also if you never took any Portuguese courses before in your life, or you took some lessons but you are still at the beginner level. The reason why is because if you're already in an intermediate or advanced level, chances are that you'll find this course dull. Then, if you plan on moving to Portugal or if you're already living in Portugal, this course is also for you. Most of the Portuguese courses you'll find online are teaching you Brazilian Portuguese, but Brazilian and European Portuguese are very different, especially when it comes to the pronunciation. Then, if you're planning on traveling to Portuguese-speaking countries, this course is also for you. Unlike Brazil, most of the other Portuguese-speaking countries use a Portuguese very similar to the European Portuguese. But what is the content of this course? As I told you, I'm going to give you an overview of the European Portuguese language. Uma visão geral. Visão geral means overview. So, a língua portuguesa, uma visão geral. The Portuguese language, an overview. So, aula 1, lesson 1. Well, this course is divided in two lessons, aulas. In Portuguese, aula means lesson. So, aula 1, lesson 1. O alfabeto, the alphabet. In this first lesson, I'm going to pronounce each letter of the alphabet so you get familiarized with European Portuguese pronunciation. I am also going to teach you some particular sounds we make in European Portuguese that foreigners struggle with. Aula 2, Lesson 2. Como estruturar uma frase. How to structure a sentence. In the second lesson, I'm going to show you 7 different sentences. Each of those sentences represents a certain structure used in Portuguese language. I will analyze those sample sentences, and through this analysis, I'm going to explain to you the basic Portuguese grammar and vocabulary. The idea is that after this lesson, you'll be able to structure some basic sentences yourself. So, are you ready? Preparados? But before that, who am I? Olá! Hello! Eu sou a Eliana. I am Eliana. Estou aqui para te ajudar a aprender português. I'm here to help you learning Portuguese. I am a European Portuguese native speaker. I was born, raised, and lived most of my life in Portugal. Over the last years, I volunteered helping foreigners learning Portuguese. And now I'm using this amazing tool called Internet to teach Portuguese to people living at any part of the world. Are you ready to learn Portuguese? If yes, join my class. Olá! I see you accepted my challenge. Muito bem. Well done. Let's start by this class project. So you should, number 1, pick a notebook, a piece of paper, and of course a pen or a pencil. Second of all, use it to take some notes along the way. Those notes can be anything, from classic note-taking to diagram schemes, anything that might help you through the learning process. In my case, for example, I use a lot of different colors to help me remembering the information. Third, in the end, take a picture or a screenshot and post it in the project and resource section. This way, you're giving yourself the double of the motivation to take nice notes, and I get to see the fruits of my own work. Now we are ready to start the course. So, see you next video. Olá! Hello! Bem-vindo à aula número 1. Welcome to the lesson number 1. O alfabeto, the alphabet. In this lesson, I'm going to introduce you to the Portuguese alphabet and some of the most important sounds in the Portuguese language. Vamos começar pelo alfabeto. Let's start by the alphabet. This one. O alfabeto português tem 23 letras. The Portuguese alphabet has 23 letters. Além dessas letras, in addition to these letters, há 3 que só se usam em casos especiais. There are 3 that are only used in special cases. Palavras de origem estrangeira. Words of foreign origin. And those letters are K, W, Y. As you can see above, I underlined those letters in a different color. So you can see the normal, let's put it in this way, Portuguese alphabet, and the alphabet that we use when we are also introducing some foreign origin words. But besides that, as you can see in this slide, I'm using different colors to underline the same word in English and Portuguese. This way, it becomes easier for you to understand some of the structural differences between Portuguese and English. Plus, you get to learn some vocabulary. So, alfabeto, alphabet. Português, Portuguese. Além dessas, in addition to this, origem, origin, estrangeira, foreign. But now, let's pronounce each letter. I will pronounce each letter individually, and you may repeat it after me. A, A, B, B, C, C, D, D, E, E, F, F, G, G, H, H, I, I, J, J, K, K, L, L, M, M, N, N, O, O, P, P, Q, Q, R, R, S, S, T, T, U, U, V, V, W, W, X, X, Y, Y, Z, Z. So we just finished it. This is it. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Those are the letters. Mas há alguns sons complicados quando juntamos as letras. But there are some complicated sounds when we put letters together. Mas, but, alguns, some, sons, sounds, complicados, complicated. And let's check it out. In Portuguese, we pronounce the sounds in 2 different ways. We use our mouth for the oral sounds, and we use our nose for the nasal sounds. So some examples of the oral sounds are saco, pá, a, cama, pânico, perna, pé, mesa, 3, pai, pau, ao, sei. Don't get worried if you're not able to repeat after me, because I will give you a chance to do that later. Now let's go for some examples of the nasal sounds. Rã, irmã, campo, tempo, pente, limpar, pintar, mãe, sem, além, tens, João, cão, pão, amam, balões, põe e muito. These are the ones with which usually foreigners struggle with the most, because we are a language that's, well, is spoken a lot with the nose and not only with your mouth. But in case you're interested in vocabulary, because I'm saying a bunch of different words and not saying the meaning of it, I'm going to say it right now. So take notes. Saco, bag, pá, shovel, to, cama, bed, pânico, panic, perna, leg, pé, foot, mesa, table, três, three, pai, father, pau, stick, owl, another way of saying two, like the preposition, I'm going to say, no, rã, frog, irmã, sister, campo, countryside, tempo, time, pente, comb, limpar, to clean, pintar, to paint, mãe, mother, sem, 100, além, besides, tens, have, like you have, tu tens, João, João is a name, so it's not translatable, João, a name of a person, cão, dog, pão, bread, amam, amar, in the third person of the plural of the present simple, eles amam, balões, balloons, põe, put, muito, a lot, or very. So one of the sounds that foreigners struggle the most is and it's very common for people called João to be very upset when they go abroad because nobody is able to pronounce their name. So one of the tricks that I think is one of the best tricks to learn how to pronounce João is to imitate the sound of a high-speed car. João! Basically, repeat it sometimes and try to get like, how do you do with your nose in order to pronounce it? João, João, João. That's the easiest way. João, João. Repeat it a lot of times. João. Then you go João, João, and you'll get it. Another sound that is also very hard is ein and orange. The best way is to practice it is to pretend something smells really bad. Like make this face like mãe, balões. You know, mãe, balões. Mãe, 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 mãe. Notice how does the sound comes out of your nose. Basically, it doesn't come out, but it's done in there in the nose. And I think this is the best way. Might sound stupid, but it's the best way. Mãe, balões. Like, oh my God, this smells so bad. Mãe, balões. It's basically the best way to get it. But, well, this is your homework to repeat this a lot of times. But now, I will repeat each one of these words, and you have the chance of repeating after me and check if you're able to pronounce it well. So, saco, saco, pá, pá, a, cama, cama, pânico, pânico, perna, perna, pé, pé, mesa, mesa, três, três, pai, pai, pau, pau, ao, ao, sei, sei, rã, rã, irmã, irmã, campo, campo, tempo, tempo, pente, pente, limpar, limpar, pintar, pintar, mãe, mãe, sem, sem, além, além, tens, tens, João, João, cão, cão, pão, pão, amão, amão, balões, balões, põe, põe, muito, muito. So, parabéns, congratulations, really. Acabaste de dar o teu primeiro passo para aprender português. You just took your first step to learn Portuguese. Acabaste de dar. You just took. Primeiro passo, first step, aprender. To learn. And in the next lesson, na próxima aula, ou no próximo vídeo, vamos aprender a estruturar uma frase. How to structure a sentence. I hope you don't quit after all these hard sounds to pronounce, okay? See you! Tchau, tchau! Bem-vindo à nossa última aula! Welcome to our last lesson. As you already know, in this lesson, or aula, we are going to analyze some sentences in Portuguese. But because I think we have too much content for just one video, I'm going to divide it into two videos. So this is going to be part 1, and there will be a part 2. But now let's move to the sentences. So, European basic structure, European Portuguese basic structures. 1. Eu sou a Eliana. 2. Sou portuguesa e sou bailarina. 3. Tenho um passaporte português. 4. Estou em Lisboa e comi um pastel de nata. 5. Eu sei falar inglês muito bem. 6. Também tenho uma mala verde e grande. 7. Amanhã vou comprar um bilhete de avião. So in this part we are going to analyze the first 3 sentences. And then in part 2 we are going to analyze the other 4. So let's start by the first sentence. Eu sou a Eliana. I am Eliana. So first word, eu. Eu, or I, is a personal pronoun. Pronome pessoal. And let's check the personal pronouns in Portuguese. Pronomes pessoais. Eu, tu, ele, ela, nós, vocês, eles, elas. So, eu, I, tu, you, ele, he, ela, she, nós, we, vocês, you, plural, eles, they, masculine, elas, they, feminine. But let's check how to say things in a more formal way, because if you want to refer to somebody in a more formal way, what you do is that you will conjugate a verb in the third person of the singular, but you'll replace ele or ela by o senhor ou a senhora. O senhor, the gentleman, a senhora, the lady. Okay, so if, for example, you want to say to somebody in a formal way, like, you are smart, you're going to say, o senhor é inteligente. Literally translating, the gentleman is smart. Ou a senhora é inteligente. Literally translating, the lady is smart. It might sound strange, but if you use you in Portuguese, it is extremely informal. So if somebody feels the need for an extra respect, they might not like that you treat them by you. Let's move to the next word. So. So is a verb. This case is the verb ser. Okay? but this is part of the verb to be. So the verb to be can be translated into two different verbs in Portuguese. Estar for changeable characteristics and ser for permanent characteristics. So in this case, eu sou a Eliana, I am Eliana, every day. I don't change my name. It's a permanent characteristic. But if, for example, I was referring to the fact that I was tired, I would use the verb estar because it's something that changes. I'm not always tired. I'm tired at this specific moment, right? But well, if you want to present yourself, a very useful verb will be ser. So let's conjugate it in the present simple. So here we have it. Eu sou, tu és, ele é, ela é. Nós somos, vocês são, eles são, elas são. So with this verb, you can always talk about yourself, at least about your permanent characteristics. A is an article. It corresponds to the English the, okay? And in Portuguese, in European Portuguese, we always put the article before names and nouns. That doesn't necessarily work like that in Brazilian Portuguese, okay? But it is mandatory in European Portuguese to do so. Because if you notice, in English you would say, I am Eliana. You wouldn't use the article. But in Portuguese, you always say this. Eu sou a Eliana, okay? This is mandatory. So let's check the definitive articles, because this is a definitive article. And one thing about Portuguese, one very specific thing, is also that we have genders for everything, okay? Even for the shoes and for the paintings, for everything. Everything is either masculine or feminine. So when we put the article, we need to change it according to to being masculine, feminine, singular, or plural, okay? Masculino, feminino, singular, plural. So the definitive articles will be o, a, os, as. O, masculino, singular. A, feminino, singular. Os, masculino, plural. As, feminino, plural. In this case is a Eliana, because I'm feminine, I'm a woman, and I'm just one. Now let's move for the next word. Eliana, which is my name. In here, there's nothing very special to say, right? About the articles, don't worry, because we will talk about that a bit more later, okay? So, now let's move to the next sentence, to the second sentence. Sou portuguesa e sou bailarina. I am Portuguese and I am a dancer. So, is a verb. Okay, verbo ser, as we already saw before. And then the subject, as you can see, it's omitted. We don't have a subject. Sujeito omisso. And that happens because usually in Portuguese, we don't put a subject before the verb. Most of the times, okay? You can see to whom am I referring by simply seeing how did I conjugate a verb. So, eu sou, the first person of the singular. So the person is obviously talking about herself. Okay? Portuguesa. Portuguesa é minha nacionalidade. It's my nationality. If I were a man, I would be português. It ends with an A because I am a woman. But this is not the normal way of doing the feminine and the masculine in Portuguese, okay? I'm just using Portuguese as an example because obviously if you're coming to Portugal, you should know how to say portuguesa and português, right? But let's use another nationality for an example. Angola. You know the country from Africa? Angola. So if a woman comes from, if a woman is from Angola, she will say, sou angolana. If a man comes from Angola, he will say, sou angolano. So as you can see, the word ends with an A, if she's a woman, or with an O, if he is a man. This is a normal way of doing the feminine and masculine in Portugal. Okay. Next word, a little one, but very important. E means and. So it's really important for you to connect two pieces of information. So again, we have the verb. And then we have bailarina. So bailarina is a professional dancer.
And if I were a man, I would be bailarino. This is one of the cases that you can see, like feminine versus masculine in Portuguese language. Very traditional way of doing it. Bailarina with an A because I'm a man. Bailarino with an O because I'm a woman. Bailarino with an O because I am a man. So let's move to the last sentence. Okay? Tenho passaporte português. I have a Portuguese passport. So, tenho is a verb. In this case, verbo ter. Verb to have. And this is how we conjugate it in the present simple. Eu tenho, tu tens, ele tem, ela tem. Nós temos, vocês têm, eles têm, elas têm. So I have, you have, he has, she has. We have, you have, they have. Both masculine and feminine. And again, the subject is omitted because, as I told you before, usually you don't put the subject before. You know that I'm conjugating it in the first person of the singular, so I'm obviously talking about myself. Tenho passaporte português. What is this? Is the indefinitive article. Artigo indefinido. Masculino. It's masculine. As I told you, in Portuguese, everything has a gender, okay? Even the passport. So, but what is the difference between and u, right? Because in the last sentence, we add u, okay? So, it's the same difference that you have in English. Tenho passaporte. I have a passport. Tenho o passaporte. I have the passport. So, means any, like I have a passport. Tenho o passaporte. I have that specific passport. Okay, this is the same difference. The only difference between English and Portuguese is that we have to change it accordingly to the gender and accordingly to being plural or singular, according to the number. So this is the definitive article, o, a, os, as, and here we have the indefinitive one, uma, uns, umas. And as you can see, we add an s for the plural. Okay, in some cases like this one, we need to replace the letter for a different one, but in most cases you don't. If you have a vowel, you never do, you just add an s, and this is how you do the plural in Portuguese. Moving to passaporte. Passaporte means passport. And as you can see, I'm explaining here again, passaporte, if you want to do the plural, you, for example, want to say, tenho uns, plural, masculine, passaportes, you just add an S. Uns passaportes. Okay? This is how we do it. Simple. Português. This one you already know. So, feminine, portuguesa. Masculine, português. Quite simple, huh? So, we finished all the sentences for this first video. There will be more in the next one. So, vamos fazer uma pausa. Let's make a pause. And I'll see you in the next video. Vejo-vos no próximo vídeo, onde vamos falar sobre como estruturar uma frase. How to structure a sentence. Part 2. See you! Bem-vindo à última parte da nossa última aula. Welcome to the last part of our last lesson. So, let's keep going on the sentence analysis. I hope you don't get too stressed by this. Don't worry if it is too much information for you. Remember, you can watch these videos over and over again, okay? So let's move for the sentences. In this video, we're going to analyze the 4 last sentences. Estou em Lisboa e comi pastel de nata. Eu sei falar inglês muito bem. Também tenho uma mala verde e grande. Amanhã vou comprar bilhete de avião. So let's move for the actual content. Estou em Lisboa e comi pastel de nata. Because it's a very long sentence, I'm going to divide it in 2. Estou em Lisboa e comi pastel de nata. I am in Lisbon and I ate a pastel de nata. Estou em Lisboa. Okay? This is the verb estar. Remember that I told you that the verb to be has two verbs inside of it? Okay, this is the other part of it. This is the one that we use for changeable characteristics. Because I am in Lisbon right now. I'm not always in Lisbon. I'm telling you right now, I am in Lisbon and I just ate this amazing pastel de nata, right? So, let's learn how to conjugate verbo estar in the present simple. Verbo estar. Eu estou, tu estás, ele está. Nós estamos, vocês estão, eles estão, elas estão. Okay, let's give you some examples because as I told you, this is not to use for permanent characteristics. But what are changeable characteristics? Things like, ele está feliz. He is happy. Okay? He is happy right now. He's not happy all the time. Ele está feliz. It's a state of mind. Nós estamos perdidos. We are lost. Nós estamos perdidos. So, in case you get lost alone, I'm also leaving this for you, singular, how to say it in the singular. Eu estou perdido. Okay, so in case you find yourself lost in the middle of Lisbon and you need to approach a police officer that doesn't know English, you already know how to say, eu estou perdido. Okay, but only approach police officers. Don't approach random people, please. Let's move to the next word, em. Em is a preposition in. Okay, I am in Lisbon. In Lisboa, Lisbon, by the way, it's Lisbon. Okay, Lisboa means Lisbon. Simple as that. Let's go for the second part of our sentence. E comi pastel de nata. E, you already know what it means from the previous ones, right? Means and. You got it right. Comi is the verb to eat. In this case, it's conjugated in the past simple. So I'm going to show you how to conjugate it also in the past simple, okay? To make sense accordingly to the sentence. So, eu comi, tu comeste, ele comeu. Nós comemos, vocês comeram, eles comeram. Okay? So, you ate, in this case, I ate, a pastel de nata. You already know this word as well. It is an indefinitive article. But it can also mean one in Portuguese, like, how many did you eat? One, okay? Pastel de nata. So, let's take the chance to learn the numbers in Portuguese up to 5. So, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. So now you know how to say how many you ate. I hope you don't eat more than 5 pastel de nata at once because you'll get sick, okay? So what is pastel de nata? In case you don't know, it's a traditional Portuguese custard tart. It looks more or less like this and it is delicious, okay? But imagine you are eating more than one pastel de nata. How do you say it in the plural? So this is how you do it. Eu comi 2 pastéis de nata, okay? We don't simply add an S because as you notice, pastel ends with a consonant, L. So what we're doing here is that we put an accent in the E, and we add an I, pastéis de nata, okay? So if you ate more than one, you can say, estou em Lisboa e comi, imagine the 4 in the picture, estou em Lisboa e comi 4 pastéis de nata. Okay? So, now let's do some revision of the verb to be in Portuguese, because I know this is kind of strange for people who don't speak Portuguese. So, we have 2 verbs for the verb to be, ser and estar. Ser is for the permanent characteristics, like when you're presenting yourself. And estar is for the changeable characteristics, things that change over time. So, eu sou português, I am Portuguese, okay? It's something that you are. I mean, you can change nationality, but that's very unlikely to happen, right? Eu sou alto, I am tall. That one is even harder to change. Eu sou professor, I am a teacher. Okay? Those things are characteristics that you have. They don't change. I mean, you can change your job too. You can switch job, but you won't do it that often, right? So that's why you use the verb ser. Estar is for things. It's for things that change very easily over time. Like, I am tired. Eu estou cansado. I'm tired right now. Eu estou a cozinhar. It's an action, okay? I'm not always doing it. I am cooking. I'm cooking right now. Maybe in half an hour, I will already be eating, for example. Eu estou em casa. I am at home. Okay, at this moment, I am at home. I'm not always permanently at home. So these are the main differences, and I think those are very good examples for you to put into practice. Now let's move to the next sentence. Eu sei falar inglês muito bem. I know how to speak English very well. Let's start. We already know the first one, like eu, I. Say is the verb to know. Okay? And now let's go back to the present simple and let's conjugate this one in the present simple. Eu sei, tu sabes, ele sabe, nós sabemos, vocês sabem, eles sabem. Okay, I don't put the feminine in here because we know ele, ela, we conjugate it in the same way. Eles, elas, we also conjugate it in the same way. Sabe, sabem. Okay, and as you can see, we have say, and this word after this is also a verb, falar, to speak. So this verb, saber, is an auxiliary verb in this sentence. And it's very common to use this structure. Verbo auxiliar, auxiliary verb, plus infinitive, mais infinitivo. And some examples that I put in here. Eu sei dançar. I know how to dance. Sei. Eu sei, I know. Dançar. Dançar, to dance. So, this is the structure. Auxiliary verb, sei, dançar, and the infinitive. Eu estou a cozinhar. I am cooking. Estou, auxiliary verb, I am. Cozinhar, cooking, in the infinitive. In this case, we are using falar, to speak, in the infinitive. Eu sei falar inglês, which is English, you already know this word. Muito means very, bem, well. I know how to speak English very well. Eu sei falar inglês muito bem. Imagine you wanted to say you know how to speak English very well. You could say tu sabes falar inglês muito bem. Because the only thing that changes is the auxiliary. Remember? This one is still always an infinitive. Ele sabe falar inglês muito bem. Nós sabemos falar inglês muito bem. Vocês sabem, you know, falar inglês muito bem. Simple. Now let's go to another big one. And I'm going to divide this into two parts again. Também tenho uma mala verde e grande. I also have a green and big luggage. Okay? This first word, também. Também means too. Okay, but in English you place it in the end of the sentence. So it would be something like I also have a green and big luggage. Okay, but we don't have I also and too. We have também. Okay, também can be placed in any part of the sentence. Em português, podemos dizer, we can say, eu tenho uma mala verde e grande também. Okay, too, like in English. I have a green and big luggage, too. Or I have, too, a green and big luggage. Eu tenho, também, uma mala verde e grande. You can place it in different parts of the sentence. It's fine. Tenho is a verb ter. We already explored it before. It's the verb to have. Também tenho uma. Again, you know this word. It's an indefinitive article. But it can also mean how many luggages you have. So I have a indefinitive article. I have one number of luggages. In this case, I mostly wanted to say how many luggages I have. So let's explore the word mala, because I was imagining you were in the airport, so this would mean luggage. But mala can also mean purse, like a mala da senhora, the purse that the lady usually carries around, right? Mala can mean both things. Verde. Verde means green. Okay, it's a color, green. But I think this is a good chance for you to learn other colors in Portuguese, right? So, more colors. Red, orange, blue, yellow, purple. Okay, so repeat after me. Vermelho, vermelho, laranja, laranja, azul, azul, amarelo, amarelo, roxo, roxo. Okay, so now you know more colors in Portuguese. E, you already know E. And grande. Okay, grande is a good surprise, I'm sure, because it means big and it doesn't change accordingly to gender. Okay, grande is always grande. So you can both use it for feminine and masculine exactly in the same way. Like a mala grande, o livro grande. A, remember, article feminine singular, a mala, o masculine singular, livro grande. Okay, doesn't change accordingly to gender. Let's move to the last one. I hope this is not being too intense for you. So, amanhã vou comprar bilhete de avião. Tomorrow I'm going to buy a plane ticket. Amanhã means tomorrow. Vou comprar bilhete de avião. Amanhã. Okay, as the same way I explained you with the word também. You could place it in different parts of the sentence. It's the same with amanhã. You can place it either in the beginning or in the end of the sentence. Both are completely right, and both are widely used, okay? Everyone just changes the order very easily of the sentence. So, amanhã vou. It's the verb to go. But as you can see, we have another verb, okay, close to it. So, vou comprar. This one is in the infinitive, so vou is the verb to go. Comprar is the verb to shop. So this is the structure we're using. Ir plus infinitive. This is a very common structure used to say the future without actually conjugating the verb in the future. So this is a very good structure for you to know when you're starting with Portuguese. Okay, like you need a basic survival number of structures to go to Portugal. This one is a mandatory one to talk about the future. Amanhã vou comprar. Tomorrow I'm going to buy. So verbo ir to go, and this is an irregular one, as you can see by the conjugation. Verbo ir. Eu vou, tu vais, ele vai. Nós vamos, vocês vão, eles vão. Ok? Eu vou comprar. Tu vais comprar. Ele vai comprar. Nós vamos comprar. Vocês vão comprar. Eles vão comprar. Ok? Tomorrow. Verbo comprar, to buy. Then you already know indefinitive article, right? Masculine singular. Bilhete, because bilhete is masculine. O bilhete. Bilhete means ticket. De avião. Avião, remember that sound that is hard to say. Avião. Avião. Okay, if you want to practice it. Means plane. Okay? Amanhã vou comprar bilhete de avião. A plane ticket. And as you can see, we do it the other way around of what English people do. Like English speakers do. Bilhete de avião, a plane ticket. We just switch it. And de means off. So literally translating, it would be something like a ticket of plane. Bilhete de avião. So, congratulations. I know this was a very intensive course, okay? But I think right now you have like the basics to have a simple conversation with Portuguese people and to communicate whatever you need to communicate in Portugal. So, agora já sabes como estruturar uma frase em português. Now you know how to structure a sentence in Portuguese. Now, agora, how, como, sentence, frase. So, in the next video, we're going just to finish this course, okay? It's just a goodbye. So, see you next video. E chegamos ao fim. And we arrived at the end. Parabéns! Congratulations! Acabaste este mini curso de português europeu. You just finished this European Portuguese mini course. Acabaste, finished, curso, course, português, Portuguese, europeu, European. So this was the last explanation of all. If you enjoyed this presentation, check Slides Carnival. I used the template from there and I really liked it. At least I think those little guys under here look very nice. I hope this course was useful to you, and don't forget to take a picture of your notes or a screenshot and share it with your mates in the resources and projects sections. And I also would like to see it as well. And if you enjoyed my course, share it with your friends, and maybe soon you'll be able to speak in Portuguese together. Who knows? See you soon. Ciao, ciao.